Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much, Dalia. It's okay. Very much that. Thank you, Dalia. Great event. I hope we really take some real actions and we move forward. I come from the private sector. I returned to Lebanon after the war of 2006, nearly 18 years ago, 19 years ago, with a mission, with the sole mission of developing the high-tech sector in Lebanon. And before then, it was my #1 top active projects while I was in the US. We organized events at MIT with the Lebanese community, and we've been trying to say, what would it take to make Lebanon as a hub for high-tech industry? After the war of 2006, I returned to Lebanon to say it is possible to do a proof of concept. So primarily, I would say I'm walking the talk, and we're preparing the example. So I'm going to present what we foresee as a roadmap, which in fact has not changed for the past 20 years. We conducted a survey 20 years ago, and we say, what would it take to make Lebanon the hub for high-tech manufacturing? 2,000 responders between individuals and companies, and the #1 roadblocker to achieve that are the laws of the Lebanese government and the Lebanese government. It's not the cost of energy. It's what we have put in place and all the red tape and all the corruption. That has not changed. So here I'm going to present my view of what we consider a roadmap after 20 years of solid dedication to this mission. And I want to talk specifically about one market segment, which is artificial intelligence, specifically the infrastructure for artificial intelligence. AI is a huge growing market. It has a 20-25% growth projected for at least the next 10 years. 90% of these products are built in China or Southeast Asia for the global market. The West, whether Europe or North America, have not been able to disengage from China for that market. There's a huge opportunity for us to play in a supply chain of building these products today in Lebanon. Our simplified analysis, if we get 1% of that market to build or assemble or manufacture these products in Lebanon, we can create a $10 billion impact onto the GDP. And these numbers can be easily defended and supported. Why can Lebanon succeed? Our labor costs are similar to those in China. The energy costs, if you're using renewable energy, are not far from China. For example, our cost is less than 10 cents per kilowatt hour, similar to the subsidized energy cost in China today. We're using solar. We have a much more formidable working force that all speak English today in Lebanon. We compete with any other country in China. Of course, we don't have the productivity index of China. We don't have the ability to work as much as the Chinese do, but we can be the second best competitors globally today. We have still one of the best education systems, regardless what people say. Our workforce is really very capable. Our ancestors used to produce the most advanced technology 200 years ago. That used to be the silk. We used to export silk to the world. When the silk industry got hit in the 1900s or the 1800s, 1890, most of the people who used to work in the silk industry, where every village in Mount Lebanon had 2 or 3 silk factories, they all immigrated to North America, and they were the foundation and the engine for the Industrial Revolution. They went to work in Worcester, Fall River, Brockton. You go to these places, and a huge portion of these people they come from Lebanese origins. This is when they used to work in the textile industry, which was booming then. So we can be very competitive. So we've built, during the past 9 years, a campus, or 8 years really, a campus in Humail. It's about 20 minutes from here. It's about 23,000 square meter built up area. We actually are employing today 400 people. We grew from 300 people. We have 400 people there. We have labs, R&D center, clean room, education facility, and we're exporting 30,000 items every single month. 30,000 items every single month to the likes of AWS, Google, Meta, NVIDIA, Cisco, Nokia, and all the other top vendors. We're even exporting high-tech products to China today. We have been succeeding because despite the challenges of operating in Lebanon, and despite all the complexity for building. This is an overview of some of the products we build. And this is a preview of the products we will build. These are considered very low volume products. Even if we're shipping 5,000 items of one particular part number, this is extremely low volume, but they are niche product with high gross margin. We are able to go to the mass market. We are able to go to something that has 100 times the volume per one specific item at a lower margin, only if ease of doing business can be addressed in Lebanon, which means the red tape, the complexity, the challenges of customs, the cost of logistics. That's our number one cost. Our number one cost of operating in Lebanon are the logistics. DHL or there's no UPS or FedEx. DHL, thank God they remained. Without them, we would not operate the business. We have offices around the world as Multilane. We have in Singapore, in Dubai, in Silicon Valley, we have in Shanghai. Our logistics cost per kilogram, per item in Lebanon is twice as much as any other country in the world. Twice as much. This is our number one cost. Then we have to pay the formalities. I don't know what you call formalities formalities to clear items from customs, which is another equivalent amount. We pay taxes, VAT, and customs fees on raw material that we import in the country. Are we able to reclaim the money from the government when we re-export them? You answer me. So this is the number one problem, not the energy cost. So it's very easy to solve this problem. Very quickly, these are some of our customers. These are some of the customers we already supply today. These are some of the customers that decided to work with us despite us being in Lebanon. And believe me, we're always the last choice they choose because we're in Lebanon. We are the last choice. Why? Because they consider the geopolitical risk. We had to overcome a tremendous credibility challenge to be qualified at any of these vendors to be a supplier. We also supply products to NASA, to SpaceX, to all the leading companies around the world. And the reason, because we brought so much value. And this value is a representation of what every engineer in Lebanon, everyone can deliver, because we're persevering, we're reliable, we're capable, and we're able to deliver. Despite that, we've succeeded. We've grown by 30% compounded annual growth rate for the past 15 years. There is a very good chance this year we will double our top line, as well as our bottom line. Last year, even during the war, we only grew by 12%, because customers were canceling their orders in order to diversify their supply chain. They cannot afford the risk if the airport closed. They were asking us, how much diesel do you have in your generators to keep the light on? So we'll have to convince them and come up with stories. But anyway, we're persisting, we're persevering, we're going to succeed. Here we present the roadmap. Our roadmap for what we believe will transform the economy of Lebanon consists of 5 main pillars. The number one is ease of doing business. Ease of doing business, which is eliminating the red tape from the government. That's number one. So for the past 10 years, we've been lobbying and advocating for a law to create special economic zone in Lebanon, where we can manufacture products without the burden of having the Lebanese government. Thank God, the law passed Parliament 2 months ago. Thank you, Dr. Amir. It's a great effort. And all the ministers and their staff are working to come up with the execution decrees that will simplify 90% of the issues, more than 90%. And then I believe with that, it becomes just a matter of execution, which is primarily moving the burden of a government of Lebanon. We don't want subsidies. Anyone who says we want subsidy to the industry is a failure. Subsidies cannot last. You need to be competitive with the global world. We need to be competitive with the workforce of the global world. Let me give you an example, side to this. If companies like Amphenol have twin factories in Dongguan, China, and Mexicali, the productivity index of their Mexican workforce is at 70%, which means they produce 70% of the products per week as they should. The company makes that up in China, where the equivalent sister factory produces 140% to make up for the deficit of the Mexicans. This is what it takes to compete. And I believe we in Lebanon, we have this fighting spirit. We're resilient. We've been living in Mount Lebanon for hundreds of years, and we will succeed. So this is passing, ease of doing business. Then we can move forward. The other four pillars are secondary, and the private sector can execute on them. We don't need funding. We don't need funding. So the four other pillars are, we need to develop infrastructure for manufacturing. We need to develop a supporting ecosystem, because we're building AI infrastructure products. The current industry doesn't support the high-tech, the precision products that we build today. So we need to build that ecosystem. We need to invest in education and applied training, as Dalia said. Applied training is very important, complementing the theoretical element, developing the vocational schools, offering training programs, summer camps, follow the German way of education. Thank you, Caroline. You always advocate for that. The fifth pillar is business development. Organically, it's very difficult for us to be able to create 10,000 jobs in 3 years in the high-tech infrastructure. We cannot organically grow it. We need to attract partners. So let me go through very quickly through these. The law, we said, is underway. The law has passed and we're moving forward. Developing manufacturing infrastructure. Already we've built the campus in Humail today. We are investing to develop 2 additional campuses. We will break ground on Kura Technology Park in 2025. Kura Technology Park will have at least 60,000 meter squares of factory space, plus education center, plus office space. Jazeen Technology Park in Kfar Filous, we will kickstart that development in 2026. And we're also in discussion with few other possible locations where landowners or real estate developers, I say, come and help and build it. Of course, they need to take a leap of faith. They need to take a leap of faith because what we're doing is not easy, is transformational. We need to rejuvenate our economy. These are the typical products that we need to have, other factories, so we need to build an ecosystem. An ecosystem are manufacturing facilities that build complementary products, so we don't have to import every item from China. This is an example. So we're looking for companies or brave hearts in the industry who want to build these adjacent products. We have 2-3 items today we're looking to partner, and things are underway with some of the industrialists. I don't want to mention because we're under NDA, but we are putting 1 or 2 additional complementary factories to build that ecosystem today with the existing well-established industrialists. On applied training, I'm going to speak a little bit about HTP Academy, something we formed 5 years ago. We've been funding, we got a grant from GIZ a couple years ago, but that is an ongoing human resource development program. We send our engineers from the company, we send them to universities to give these specialized attractive courses, and we host on weekly basis multiple courses to upskill and train our people. Even today, we have companies in China, ODMs based in China, not Chinese, Americans, but based in China, who are outsourcing work to Lebanon, outsourcing work to us to develop AI infrastructure products. This is not a simple thing. Again, I am betting on our human resources. I'm betting on our people because we can succeed and we can grow. On the business development front, I'm going to speak a little bit about that. This is a list of some of the companies with whom we've started to discuss, we started to engage. We've talked to them, I would say, dozens of times to each one about Lebanon. But they always consider Lebanon as a geopolitical risk. To give you an example, Amphenol has taken the case of Multilane to their board of directors twice. Amphenol, by the way, they like $30 billion top line in terms of revenue, 120,000 employees. They've sent their people to Lebanon. On Saturday, some of their people are coming to Lebanon from China to spend 4 days to accept products. They've taken the business case to expand in Lebanon to the board twice, but they always considered geopolitical risk as a major issue. TE, as soon as the geopolitical risk is moved, they want to come and occupy 5,000 square meter space and scale to 15,000, and they're going to challenge me, get me 300 employees. And these products they want to build are the regular blue-collar workers that you can get from anyone who was a cab driver can become a factory worker within a couple of weeks. So this impact is significant. So this is just a sample of the companies that are very active. But I want to take one additional point. Dalia mentioned the comment joint venture. Joint venture is the number one and the fastest way we can engage. In order for us to make the joint venture project more active, we need the engagement of the government and of our diplomatic corps. And this is how. Europe today, especially with European companies, Europe today is not as productive as it once was. 30-hour work week and 2-month vacation don't cut it in the global industrial world. They don't cut it. China is eating their lunch. The automotive industry in Germany, which is 15% of the economy of Germany, is really suffering. They're not able to compete with the Chinese vehicles. We want to extend our hands to the diplomatic corps, to the industrial sector in Europe, to say, let's work joint ventures. Why don't you open a side factory in Lebanon, and with a joint venture with local investment or DFI, guaranteed funding from Proparco, EIB, IFC, where they guarantee the funds outside, even before we do the reform. Once the special economic zone law passes, they can make the investment in Europe, and the European company can open its factory in Lebanon. And there we can easily create the 10,000 jobs within a couple years. So I ask the government, representative of the government, to consider this mission, especially the high-tech industrial sector, as core mission, because I believe this will be a major accelerator to the economic redevelopment and the transformation of our country. Our objective is one. We want Lebanon to be the future home of our kids. All of you in my age group, our kids are outside this country. This is our responsibility to bring them back. This is the mission. And that's why I came back to Lebanon. I ran 3 high-tech companies. And I sold them, and I came back to Lebanon for this mission. I ask you to adopt this mission. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks.